views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hey everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS, and you're watching Open. And we thank you, and we appreciate you. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for checking it all out. You're watching Open, BXRX, and we've got it going on for you. Fantastic show. You got to watch it throughout and through. That's what it's all about. In fact, coming up on today's show, here's what we got in store for you. We're here from the founder of an organization that is empowering our youth. And after that, we'll check in with a medical professional to highlight a unique form of cancer that we should be more aware of. Then we'll sit down with a spokesman of a faith-based community that has continued to thrive during the pandemic. Then Bobby C, he steps into the room with the world of sports. He has a lot in store for you. And then finally, we'll speak to a fitness instructor who will share some tips on achieving your body's fitness goals. Share something called the torture chamber. That and a whole lot more coming your way. We are wide open. Here we go. Hey everyone, I'm the Dr. Bob Lee. You're watching Open. It's that live interactive program that brings the Bronx and New York City straight to your TV set. We've got you covered like a blanket. You can stay tuned to us, stay connected to us through social media at BronxNet TV. Now, leading things off, our first guest is a licensed social worker, an ordained faith minister, educator, and the founder and CEO of the Just As I Am Youth Empowerment Program. Take me as I am. And she joins us today to highlight the work that she is doing with her organization to inspire the next generation. So please give a big round of applause. The Reverend is in the house. Reverend Gina C. Jefferson. Rev.
Amen, amen. Hello, everyone. Hi, Dr. Bob. Thank you so much for allowing me to be here with you today. This is a wonderful treat.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Let everybody know, you've been doing some things in our community for some time now. So please tell us a little bit about yourself and what inspired you to create Just As I Am?
Yes, well, my career was in the New York City Department of Education for many years, for over 22 years. I started as a teacher, taught for about 10 years to youth with special needs, and then I switched over to school social work, and I was a school social worker. And I guess Jaya I always knew that it was going to be, I always knew I would start a youth program of some sort. But it was really through my work in the public schools, working with young people who needed a little bit more than academic education, who needed more social emotional supports, and their families who needed more support as well. It began to get really clear to me that young people weren't clear about what else there was in life, about their purpose, about why, they had to study and why, and what else they could do, in the meantime. Like, school isn't for everybody. Let's be real, right? So I met a lot of young people who were having a lot of behavioral issues because school wasn't for them, but they had other ideas. They had other dreams, right? And, Jaya came.
That's that social worker point of view. Watch out.
Yeah.
Coach us. You're a coach too. Coach us.
Not for nothing, but I got really clear after I started doing my work as a reverend, because I realized that
put everything together.
Yes, a sense of purpose is something that we don't teach our young people to really cultivate. And with Jaya, they get to discover their voice, their innate worth. They get to think about their strengths and even their weaknesses and see how that can still be used to empower people, You know, they get to create a life that they choose. You know, in school, as a youngster, everybody's telling them what to do, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they get to create, and we co-create with them opportunities for them to learn and utilize their minds, their leadership, and their, you know, their strengths. You know, and then they get to connect with peers and meet mentors and find support systems that will help them accomplish their dreams and help them,
Yeah.
you know, try things
I,
out.
I like the book by T.D. Jakes, A Purpose-Driven Life.
Yes.
You know, good book for adults to check out. Depending on how old the youngsters are, they can check that out too, maybe high school.
Yeah.
But yeah, that will carry you through, you know, and give you some insight.
Yeah, he actually talks about intentional living, you know, about living by intention. And we do expose our youth to books like that. Our youth are from ages 16 to 21. And
okay.
Yeah, we actually support them all through their adolescence until like 24. When they jump into 25, then it's like, okay, you can come back and do some service. But
that's right. That's
like
right.
To stay with them and help them create more opportunities for experience in life and trying out new goals. And we also like to create support systems for them and help introduce them to people like yourself in the community who are also trying to bring young people along.
Set something up. We'll come and visit. Okay. I'm visiting a place called Children's Village in Dobbs Ferry.
Yes,
on
absolutely.
the 18th. Yeah.
Okay. We can do that.
All right. So what is Jaya's youth vision and how did the organization's name come about?
You're going deep, Dr. Bob. Okay.
Nobody knows better than you.
Yes. Well, we are here. Our vision, well, Jaya is a personal development and leadership program for teens and young adults. And we co-create with them to build healthier communities by promoting mindfulness, mental health literacy, and moral and ethical development. And our vision is that we have a world that is listening to young people and helping young people build conscious leadership. Okay. And our curriculum is based on a positive youth development framework, which is a pro-social approach to help building on youth strengths, enhancing their relationships and leadership skills. And so our three pillars are mindfulness, helping them to relieve stress and anxiety and things like that by checking in on their internal landscape, understanding what's going on within them, and having a language to explain that and to just get to know themselves much better. We also promote mental health literacy. Understand your mental wellness, just like you understand your physical health, right? And so the third part is, if I know myself, then I can make ethical decisions and moral decisions because I know my values. Right. Just as I came from my own journey of being a young person who was pushed out there because, you know, people saw leadership in me, but I didn't know who I was. I wasn't clear, you know, and I, as a young person, as a teenager, dealt with a lot of depression and anxiety because I wasn't clear about how to negotiate the world. I wasn't clear about what was going on in my mind and my heart. And now
I know how you mentioned earlier when you became an ordained minister, how all of that stuff was incorporated in the mix into your life's journey. You know, all this is a part of your life's journey, and it's not done yet. You've got a lot of work to do because you're going to touch a lot of lives and help others get what they need out of life, and that's very important. And I'm with you every step of the way.
Thank you. But I realized it wasn't just me. You know,
you're a conduit, right?
There you go. You know, and other people were having these experiences too. And I think for people of color, we tend to push our kids out there because we want them to get theirs, but at the same time, they haven't learned themselves yet, and they haven't mastered themselves to go and say, well, here's me, you know.
I hear that social work coming out in you. Yeah. Where can we go to find more about you? Because we need a whole hour to explore everything that you're talking about. And I'm loving it. So where can we go to find out more? You have a website?
Oh, definitely. Our website is www.jaiayouth.org. And we are on mostly all social media. We're most active on Instagram, and there we are at Jaya Youth Empowerment, and Facebook at Jaya Youth, Twitter, you know, we're there. So please, we have some workshops coming up. We have Seeds for Your Soul Saturdays, which
Seeds for Your Soul Saturdays. All right.
Which was, it's like a life coaching session every Saturday, and that's open to the community. So youth bring their friends, their families, where we have different professionals come in and talk about leadership and different aspects of leadership. So our next one is on March 19th, 3:00 online. It's a virtual event. So you can find out about that on social media, but we have a wonderful speaker, Mr. Myron McPhee Tucker, who's a TEDx speaker, and he's going to talk about leadership and speaking.
What's that, the website one more time?
www.jaya, Jaya youth, youth.org.
Reverend Gina Jefferson, and she has that organization, Just As I Am. Take me as I am. I've got it going on for you. Doctor, I'm going to call you a doctor too, because that's your next move. Dr. Reverend or Reverend Dr. Gina Jefferson. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining us.
I appreciate it. Thank you, and blessings to you all. Take care.
All right. We'll take a quick break right here. I've got more. We're wide open coming up next.
We built a media network for you.
BronxNet TV.
Come learn in your new state-of-the-art studios at Lehman College.
At Mercy College.
And coming soon to the South Bronx in the Hub.
Inspire with your stories, culture, history.
Your Bronx on BronxNet.
Engage with us.
Connect with us at your channels and at BronxNet.tv.
Learn, engage, inspire. BronxNet TV.
From the Bronx
to the world.
BronxNet.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You are watching Open, and we thank you and appreciate you for it too. Our next guest is a gastroenterology specialist for the Gastroenterology Associates of Brooklyn, and she's with us today to share some vital information about colorectal cancer and the preventive options that exist for patients. So please welcome to the show, Dr. Cynthia Quainu. Doctor, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And thank you for all that you're doing in our community to create the awareness that there is a situation, there's a problem, but it can be corrected. Tell us Absolutely. How you got started in this area.
Wow. So yeah, I have a strong natural interest in liver diseases in particular. I did my residency training at UMDNJ in Newark, New Jersey, and they have a liver transplant team. So I got interested in that early on in my career, and hepatology, liver diseases, is associated with gastroenterology. And so that's how I became involved. In terms of my community service work, I've actually been kind of doing this to some degree or another since I was a resident, since I was a student. And I geared most of my energies to raising awareness, particularly in our community, about colon cancer.
Was there somebody in your family or in the community that you took note of that moved you in this particular area?
A patient early on when I was a student. You know, there's a lot of stigma, especially in our community surrounding colonoscopy. And I encountered a young man who was in his late 30s with rectal bleeding, and he had ignored it for some time and refused to get checked. And it turned out there was colon cancer. And unfortunately, at that point, it had spread. And so it was too late to do anything curative, but that situation struck me, and I noticed that it was a major issue in our community.
And we know a lot. We know of a lot of people who have suffered from it, and some people that went in early. I was at a location. I was doing something on location, promoting this center in Harlem, and the guy came up to me like a year later. He said, "Bob, you know, I was listening to you when you had the speakers outside and you had that microphone and you were talking to people about checking your I just went straight to check your blood, check your,
yes.
Check for cancer, get the screenings necessary that complete your thought if you think that you may be suffering from something." And he says, "I went in and I checked and I had colorectal cancer. And I thank you for creating that awareness." So we thank you for continuing to create that awareness in our community, because people need it, because people don't think that they may have a situation. What are some of the symptoms? Because sometimes you think there's none, but what are some of the symptoms that people can look out for?
Right, so that's a great point. So oftentimes there's no symptoms. I, along with a lot of my colleagues, everyone's had the experience of doing a screening colonoscopy on a patient who had absolutely no symptoms at all, normal blood work, and we find a cancer. So it happens, and those cancers, because they're asymptomatic and no anemia, no low blood counts, they're early stage cancers, and they can be removed, and the cure rate or the survival rate is over 90%. Once you get into the realm of having symptoms, it makes it a little bit complicated, but some of the symptoms include passing blood from your rectum. Okay, so we're kind of at the point where we don't discount that as hemorrhoidal bleeding automatically, right? So about 10, 20 years ago, you probably could get away with saying, you know what, this is probably just due to hemorrhoids. You don't need any further testing. But the incidence of colon cancer in the United States has increased, especially among the young population. So there's patients between the age of 20 and 49 who are now getting colon cancers. So if you have bleeding, get checked, okay? If there's any abdominal pain, go see a specialist. If there's any change in bowel habits, bloating, weight loss, or just overall feeling unwell, these things need to be investigated, and we're not in a situation where we can take it for granted anymore.
Yeah, and so you have to go get it checked out. Go get a colonoscopy. It could be
Absolutely.
you have a problem down your lower left area. It could be diverticulitis and things like that.
Right.
But you need to go in and see what's going on, because it could be a polyp that you can remove and
Absolutely.
okay. What do you reckon people should go and get a colonoscopy at what stage of the game, or what age?
What age? So for a long time, there was a difference based on ethnicity or race, excuse me. So Black people, African-American people in the United States are considered a high risk group for colon cancer. Black men specifically develop early age advanced cancers, and they die more as compared to any other group. The reasons for that are multifactorial: access to healthcare, education, and some genetics, lifestyle, and other risk factors. So it's been 45 years old for Black and African-American people for a long time, except it was poorly publicized. So for non-Black population, it was age 50, okay? Yeah. October of last year, because of the recent data I just quoted you, for the new cancers in young people, they decreased the screening age to 45 years old. So if you're a 45-year-old person with no family history and no symptoms, you're eligible to get colon cancer screening with a colonoscopy and other methods that we can discuss.
Doctor, what are some of the things that we can do to prevent colon cancer? Diet, exercise,
Sure.
the movement
So
in the body. What?
absolutely. So diet is very important. Diets that are high in meat and high in processed meat specifically increase your risk for colon cancer. So we're talking about, all the good stuff, the sausage, the bacon,
Uh-huh.
the luncheon meat. It's a problem. Um,
Uh,
in order to decrease your risk, you have to take in more fiber, more fruits and vegetables, insoluble fiber.
yeah.
Tobacco use, of course, is linked to almost every cancer, and that includes colon cancer. Um,
Even if you
Exercise,
smokes, that the secondhand smoke too.
so absolutely, yes. Secondhand smoke too. Exercise, of course, is important as well. Staying slim, because obesity is a risk factor. Insulin resistance, diabetes is a risk factor as well.
Yeah, yeah. And I know of a number of people, and in our families, we can call out some people who are having trouble in that area, and then we
Right,
know some people who passed away.
right.
A
So
lot of R&B artists, or rappers, people in the music
sure.
who go around and they don't have time to sit down and eat because they're running so hard.
Right, absolutely. I think you touched upon family history for a second there.
Yeah,
In our community, it's kind of taboo to discuss the C word, cancer, right? So if those type of things are not being discussed among family members, you don't know what your risks are, right? So I encourage, it's nothing to be shameful for being diagnosed with a cancer. It's nothing to be shameful about having any type of illness, but these things need to be shared among family members, because if you have a first degree relative with polyps or colon cancer, you're actually eligible to get screened at an earlier age than 40, at 45. It would be 40,
yeah.
if that person was older than 60. So the younger your first degree relative is diagnosed with colon cancer, you have to start your screening 10 years before that person developed their cancer.
And this is Colon Cancer Awareness Month, right? Doctor, thank you for hanging out with us. Thank you for talking. You have your wealth of information. I feel rich. Thank you. Where can we go to get more information from you?
You can contact my assistant. Her name is Lordia, Lordia, and her phone number is 929-409-9148. My personal email is cequainoo@gmail.com. Believe it or not, people use social media to make their appointments with me as well. So you can see me on Instagram at CQ Method, or on Facebook by my full name, Cynthia Quainu.
Dr. Quinu, you have telehealth and all of that? They can
Absolutely.
this and you can, beautiful.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. You got to come back again and share more, okay?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Dr. Cynthia Quainu, MD, gastroenterologist specialist. Thank you. We appreciate you. We'll take a break. More open on the way. Don't move. Welcome back, everybody. I'm the Doc Bob Lee from 107.5 WBLS. You are watching Open. Watch out. Our next guest is a national spokesman for Jehovah's Witnesses, who is with us to speak about how Jehovah's Witnesses has continued to thrive and grow throughout the pandemic. So please welcome to the show, Robert J. Hendricks III. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you? How you feeling? How are you doing?
I'm doing well, Dr. Bob. Thanks for having me back. Really appreciate it.
Good. So there's a lot of things happening. You have thrived throughout the pandemic. Talk about that for a second.
Yeah. First of all, I don't want to minimize this pandemic. It has been difficult for all of us. We've lost some of our brothers and sisters around the world. thousands of them, of the many millions that we have. But we've tried to keep them safe as an organization because we thought that bringing them together, bringing our brothers and sisters together, when really there was no imperative to do so, would put them at risk. So we know that no one contracted COVID-19 at one of our Kingdom Halls, which is our places of worship, because since March of 2020, we have been virtual. We have had a conferencing technology, usually Zoom, but other ways as well. We in parts of the world, we do broadcast over television and radio. We have a special what's called JW Stream, but generally in this country, our congregations have been virtual through Zoom. We've kept people safe and we've kept people engaged. Twice a week, we have regular meetings, so they're planned, a midweek meeting and a Sunday meeting, or a Saturday meeting, a weekend meeting. And these are virtual discussions as well. So we bring folks in, we talk, and we've had a really productive time, even in the face of these very dark days.
When are you back in the Kingdom Hall?
That's a great question. It's very timely, actually, because yesterday, the organization announced to the world that after April 1, congregations will be back in their Kingdom Halls if they can be. Government restrictions are still in place in some areas, in some parts of the world. But mostly in the United States, we will begin going back to our Kingdom Halls, and we're being encouraged also to celebrate our holiday, which is our memorial, celebrate that memorial together at the Kingdom Hall in April. So that's coming up. We will be celebrating the memorial together, and we're just relieved that we're moving to this next phase because, frankly, I think as a result of this, we'll just be a better organization and a stronger people.
Yeah. And, you spent I'm sure people learned a lot, but there's nothing like being there in person and looking at somebody and shaking their hands and giving them a hug.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no. I mean, even with us, right, Dr. Bob, we haven't met. When we meet, you're going to say, "Wow, you're taller than I thought," or "You're paler than I thought," and I'll say, "I didn't even recognize you, Dr. Bob." and then we'll have our first hug together, and that will bond us in a different way, won't it? There have been those over the last 2 years. Believe it or not, it's an amazing thing. There have been those who have never seen the inside of a Kingdom Hall, have never gone to one of our live conventions, and have never knocked on a door, and are now Jehovah's Witnesses who have studied during this period of time, dedicated their life, gotten baptized, perhaps in a pool or in a lake or somewhere, and are now Jehovah's Witnesses. And for the first time ever, they will be walking into a Kingdom Hall in April in just a few weeks. And what an exciting moment that will be for them. Yes. And will add a dimension to the relationships that they have.
Robert, is the Jehovah's Witnesses the only tradition that goes and knocks on doors?
You know, when you think about a worldwide organization, so we're in 239 lands, 8.6 million, 120,000 congregations. And the answer is a nuanced answer because there are other congregations, churches maybe on the corner that have encouraged their friends to go from door to door. There's also the Latter-day Saints, LDS, the Mormons, who have it as part of, many of them do a ministry for several years, maybe 2 years of ministry, some of them do. But for Jehovah's Witnesses, that's who we are. It's not what we do. When you are a Jehovah's Witness, Jehovah being the creator 7,000 times in the Holy Scriptures, that's the name that's in every Bible. Some Bibles have taken it out and replaced it with Lord. When you're a Jehovah's Witness, you witness, you testify about Jehovah. Witness comes from the Latin word testimonium, you testify. And if you're not testifying about Jehovah, then you're no longer a Jehovah's Witness. We would call you inactive. And so it's interesting because just in the last year, those who we might have called inactive, who were stopped at their ministry, have restarted it. And just in the United States, that's 30,000 people. 30,000 people of our brothers and sisters in the last year have resumed their ministry. And so we're just excited about the fact that we have them back with us and actively preaching again.
Robert, what do you want people to know about this tradition, Jehovah's Witnesses?
Well, that really we are here to help people. I think that the general person who sees somebody come to their door and knock on it and say something about the Bible, you're trying to change my religion. And that's an understandable thought. Religion is very personal. It's something that's handed down from person to person, from family to family, from father to mother. Many would say, I'm dyed in the wool, or I was born this and I'll die this. And we understand that it's very personal. And we understand that it's somewhat controversial as well. But here's the thing. Number one, our obligation is to our God and to his son, Jesus, who told us to do this. And number two, we love people. And we want to go out and comfort them with the word, with God's word. We want to reach them. And that's why jw.org is in 1,054 languages. It's in over 103 sign languages. Imagine that. Because we want to reach everyone, and it's not about money. We don't ask for money for our literature. We don't charge for our website. We have never had a collection plate at our Kingdom Halls ever in the history of Jehovah's Witnesses. Why not? Because Jesus said, you receive free, give free. And that's what we're trying to do every single day. If we could do this every day of our life, if we didn't have to work, which all of us do, if we didn't have to work for a living, we would be out there talking to people about the message that has really saved our life. You know, in the last 2 years, this is another, hold on to your seat, Jehovah's Witnesses have released 77 new language translations of the Bible. 77 new language translations of the Bible. You couldn't even name 77 languages, even if I had you here all day. And that's because, and you know what we do with these Bibles, Dr. Bob? We give them away. We have 15 million users on our JW Library app, which is free. We have had 79 million downloads of our sign language Bible, which is the first sign language Bible in the history of mankind that was completed. All of this is provided free to people, and we urge them to take full advantage of it. Don't go by me. Go to jw.org, see what all the resources are, and you'll see the 600,000 resources and the 200,000 video and audio publications that are available to you that will really help your life, because it helps us to be better husbands, wives, better fathers, and even better employees and better neighbors. And that's really what it's all about.
What's the website again?
jw.org, right over my shoulder. Can't miss it.
There you go. And give me a quick prayer out, 30 seconds, if you can.
Well, we're hoping that we can. Prayer is very personal. It's an act of worship, so it's not something that a Jehovah's Witness would do on the air. We certainly pray for our neighbors. We're praying for our Ukrainian brothers and all those and that situation there. And we, like you, pray for God's kingdom to come and his will to be done on this earth. We look at this earth, we know it's not his will that this is happening. We know that it has taken a wrong turn, but we also know that Jesus said his kingdom is coming. And so we pray for that every day. And we pray that good hearts like you will turn its attention, turn your heart to the good news from God's word and be able to be affected in a very powerful way.
Thank you so much. I pray for you. You pray for me. We pray for the community. Thank you so much, Robert. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Bob.
Yes, Robert J. Hendricks III, National Spokesman for Jehovah's Witnesses. We appreciate you. We love you. And thank you, thank you, thank you. Coming up next, Bobby C. He has the latest in the world of sports. Next. The month of March, of course, is known for college basketball, but it's also known for some great high school basketball. And we've got one of the best joining us on the show this morning, and that's the head coach of the varsity team at St. Ray's, and that's Jorge Lopez. Coach, how's it going? How are you?
It's going well. It's going well. I appreciate you guys having me on.
It's exciting to have you on because it's been such a great season, and your squad is so young and up and coming here in the Bronx, and you've got some great young players to tell us about this morning. I guess, first place maybe to start might be that I think the fans at home might not be totally aware of how the CHSAA handles its playoffs, but there's actually two sets of playoffs. I was hoping you could kind of explain to the fans at home how that goes, because you guys just wrapped up the intersectionals.
Yeah, well, the first set of playoffs, you have the the Archdiocesan playoffs, which would be the equivalent of the Big East tournament or the ACC tournament. Luckily for us, we had a pretty good year and we finished in third, and we secured the number 3 seed. But unfortunately, we were upset by the Gales of Iona Prep in the quarterfinals. They were the number 6 seed. So, and that was a game that we were winning for, I would say, 95% of the game, and with the last 2-3 minutes, we kind of lost our lead.
Well, I wanted to shift the focus, I guess, to the better stuff here, because I got a chance to be there with you and call the game as you guys defeated Zavarian in the second round of the intersectional playoffs. And it's not just making excuses. You really have a very young team, and this year it looks like the record, I guess, wrapped up at 16-10, right?
That's correct.
I mean, so that's nothing to, shake a stick at, as they would say. 16-10 is pretty good, especially when some of your top players are freshmen.
Yeah. Well, we have Brandon Storrs Jr. and, of course, Ty Turnage, son of the Wings head varsity basketball coach at Billy Turnage. Both those players who were regarded as some of the 2 top prospects coming into high school, they really answered the call for us. And, I wasn't too surprised based on what I was able to see, over the last few years as they were coming up in the rankings of New York City basketball, what we were getting at St. Ray's. And they definitely totally delivered for us.
Well, I think Storrs, to me, is impressive. And I know when I got a chance to speak to you at Iona for the playoff games, you were suggesting that you could see him maybe being a player that by the time it's all said and done, he might hold a whole bunch of records at St. Ray's.
Yeah, I think what's most impressive about him is that coming in as a freshman, he was able to achieve something that I don't remember any freshmen doing, and that's making an all city team. And he was nominated and chosen as a second league all player. And to me, going into your freshman year or concluding your freshman year and achieving that accomplishment was a major goal of his. And everybody's just excited about where he's going to go after that.
And Turnage too, he's got a nice 3-point shot.
He turned out to be our most consistent shooter. And, throughout the course of the season, my coaching staff and I had many discussions, about whether or not we should play him off the ball. And being that he was so consistent shooting the 3 ball, that was something that we had the liberty of doing because of his efficiency.
So, Brandon Storrs Jr., Ty Turnage, you mentioned Stepanak, so many great players, I think, here from the Bronx, from New York City. Obviously, Boogie Fland at Stepanak. I mean, for you, in terms of the league and not just your players, talk a little bit about the talent that you see here in the CHSAA.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, you think about some of the top players in the Catholic League today, and they're all either freshmen or sophomores. And, that just goes to show you how tough our league is. We do have some great upperclassmen, but I think that the bulk of the talent has come from that freshman sophomore class. You look at Cardinal Hayes and Ian Jackson, as you mentioned, Stepanak and Boogie Fland, and then, of course, Danny Carbuccia. It's really exciting to see that some of the young players are staying home and carrying, the torch and the reputation that is the Catholic League as one of the toughest and top leagues in the entire country.
And St. Raymond, of course, has such a great tradition of basketball. You've been in charge of the program now since 2012. And, do the guys get on you? Are you teaching them in class? Because I know you've taught religion and Spanish and social studies. I mean, do those guys get on you in class too?
Well, it's funny because we do know how to separate the two, but it's interesting to see them in a classroom. It's really tough for them to get away with anything. one of the first things that I do when I do get them in class that very first day, I sit them all in the front. And that's always been stable for me, just to make sure that they're doing what they're supposed to be doing and making sure that they're not failing my class, if any class, not my class.
Well, I think, in terms of your profile, I know you've always been a very humble guy, but I mean, you look at the statistics for you, really some impressive accolades coming into being the head coach at St. Ray's. I look at this varsity B record. You were the 03 champs, and that freshman team record, really incredible as well. 152 and 62 before you ended up moving up. And now, of course, leading the top varsity team at Ray's. What are some of the fondest memories that you had of coaching at St. Raymond? Because you've been there since 2004, correct?
That's correct. Just my experience, especially coaching on a varsity B level, one of the things that I was always allowed to do as a coach was to grow as a coach. The great Gary DeCesar hired me to be the varsity B coach. And, I had some really great experiences learning from him and learning from some of the other great coaches we had in the program. But just having those opportunities to really grow as a coach and work on my craft was something that I've always cherished. And then moving into, coaching freshman basketball, freshman basketball, some of the most competitive basketball you'll see in the city. I think in this day and age, we tend to move up the freshmen, as soon as they get to high school. But, when I was coaching, all the best freshmen stayed on the freshman level. And I've had the pleasure of coaching some great players such as Dowell Truck Bryant, Gerald Colts, Myron Hickman, Daniel Dingle, Curran Okoro. These are guys that have been stable in the program and have done great things for the program, not just on the varsity level, but again, on a lower level as well.
And when you head on over to see a game there, I think the fans in the Bronx, if they haven't had an opportunity to go on over to Ray's, I mean, the gym looks great. I mean, it really looks like a Division I college basketball setting as opposed to just your regular high school gym.
And I've always said that, the closest experience you'll get to playing in that type of environment that feels like a college environment is at St. Ray's. And I first got that impression when I got to St. Ray's. When I first started teaching there, and then before I even coached there, I was so impressed and marveled by, just the crowd, the fans, and just the fanfare that goes along with playing at St. Ray's. I mean, you're playing at, to a capacity crowd, night in, night out. That was always something that I wanted to be a part of. And when I got the opportunity to do so, it was something that I've always took very seriously, and I've always tried to maintain an upscale environment at St. Ray's.
And you obviously were an assistant at one point under Oliver Antigua, who at that time, I think in 2004, he moved on to coach at Manhattan as an assistant, gone on to do some big things in the college basketball landscape. Do you see yourself maybe trying to do something similar, or would you like to stay at St. Ray's long term?
If I were 10 years younger, yes. I always say coaching college basketball is a young man's game. I'm nearing 50, so I truly enjoy what I do. And, my goal has always been to try to be, if not the best, but one of the best high school coaches in New York City, and if not New York State. Again, I've had thoughts of moving on and going to college, but, as I said before, it's a young man's game. And as I've gotten older, I've had developed much appreciation for the high school game.
Well, I think the kids here in the Bronx and at St. Ray's have really benefited from you being such a great coach, and then also just being such a great mentor. And you've been able to do that too in places like 5-Star. You've worked in a lot of different camps. And, I guess for you, what is the most gratifying aspect of working with young men?
Just being a role model, with everything that's going on in the world, you want kids to grow up into great civilians. And, for me, just to have the opportunity to impart my knowledge of my upbringing and, being able to try to steer these kids on the right path has always been a challenge, but it's always been gratifying.
That was part one of our interview with St. Ray's head coach, Jorge Lopez. Tune in next time for part 2.
welcome back. I'm the Diggity Dr. Bob Lee. Still got a whole lot in store for you. We're going to continue to give it to you like we owe you something. Our last guest is a certified fitness trainer and founder of Smart Steps Fitness. Watch out. You don't want to mess with her. She will work you out. She joins us today to speak about her passion for fitness and how she is helping people achieve their body goals. So please welcome to the show, Dana Smart. She's got it going on. Dana, welcome.
Welcome. Thank you so much for having me.
Dana, I heard all about you, and I heard that you have a torture chamber. Tell me.
I do, and I absolutely love it, and I love the results that come out of it.
Yeah.
So in my torture chamber, that's what my clients like to call it. I call it my studio.
But
So
you don't have those drops to the head and all that, drops of water to the head. It's nothing like that.
No drops of water to the head, just towels, because there are drops coming from your head.
Yeah, there you go.
Perspiration is key.
Yeah. It's good to
So
sweat. Get all the toxins out of your body.
Yes. Yeah. So we actually do everything from just that, detoxifying your body. So we come in, work out, we get our cardio in, we get our weights lifted, depending on the goal that the person has. Now, when you say get those toxins out, there's actually a thing that I have because I also specialize in body sculpting. So one of the things that we do by getting the toxins out is called a sauna blanket. And with that sauna blanket, you literally lay like a burrito and you sweat and you get the toxins out. I give you some herbs and some essential oils that go in that you breathe in and also go topically on your body. Yeah. And when I tell you the toxins that are released from your body, it's nuts.
And that's important too, because some people have had toxins in their body for years and didn't know how to get it out or didn't know what the process is. And there's many ways that you can, do. Of course, working out gets all the toxins out of your, when you're sweating, it gets the toxins out of your body.
Yes, but the oils, it's essential oils are just that, essential.
Yeah.
So you have your peppermints, your herbs, your spices. I also studied organic medicine. So with that, you are releasing things that were just that, stored up in your system. You will see it come out in your skin. You will see it. You will smell it come out in your pores. It's amazing.
See, people are going to want to try that. Now, what can you do for somebody who's just starting out? Of course, you can't go straight in full force, 100%. You're going to let them know about a few things and then go lightly and then get them into it. But they're going to love what they look like after you get done with them, right?
Yes, people love their results. I love to see their results. That is my personal gratification, to see them look in the mirror and smile and love their results. I do an initial assessment first. So with the initial assessment, they come in and we just that. We assess. There is no cookie cutter. There is no quick fix. We do everything client by client, whether it's my stretch therapist that they have, my massage therapist that they have, or they have me, which does some of everything. We actually customize the program with them. And we do what's called mindfulness. So first we'll start out with mindfulness during their initial assessment. They will finish off every workout with mindfulness. So they finish off with a stretch and a meditation. But when we hit that workout, we hit it hard, and it's hard. It will be challenging for that person, not necessarily for one person as averse to the other, but we make sure that they are challenged. We make sure that they push themselves. There is one curse word in my studio or in my torture chamber, and that is the word can't. So whether it is a public boot camp and we are 50 people in the middle of the Bronx sidewalk, or we are one-on-one, if that word is heard throughout the entire class, each time it's heard, we do 10 push-ups. We reminder, not a punishment, but a reminder that you can do it, because it is mind over matter.
Yeah.
You can do it. So it's a reminder that I can do this. But if you tell yourself verbally that you're unable to do it, that you can't do it, your body is just going to manifest it.
Exactly. Out of your mouth, into your ears. And if you write it down, wow, you're reinforcing it all over the place. So say you can, you will.
Yes. And when we do it as a group, we're a whole team. So when Anybody says it, everybody drops together and does 10 push-ups. Yeah, so people have gotten threats. That one.
Imagine if you say that word and everybody looks at you like,
yeah, that's about the look that they get.
So I see the before and after in the poster behind you.
Yes. So this is body sculpting. She was training and she was doing body sculpting simultaneously. This is after training, and then this is cavitation. So cavitation is a machine that actually I put on the client's body, and it sends sound waves. And with the sound waves and the fat can't stay in the same place at the same time. Two things cannot exist at the same time. So the sound waves combust the fat cells, fat cells the liquid, and are released through your lymphatic system. It is amazing. When technology, health, and wealth merge together, we get results like this.
Body sculpting.
Body sculpting.
Wow. Yeah.
Yep. So that's cavitation. She did cavitation and she did the sauna blanket.
And then she didn't even get into all the other stuff that you offer with the ropes and all that stuff.
Oh, when she trains hard. She's done battle ropes. We actually were able to do a 15 miles. So it was a race. So we did a race. It was building money for multiple sclerosis, which I am a big advocate on finding cures for health, finding different ways to make sure that we are well. So I had about 55 of us that we were out in Jersey. We did the race. The race was 15 miles. We did everything from jumping into muddy puddles. We did it all, but I prepared everybody ahead of time. We worked out, we trained, we did it, raised money, and it was great. So when we train, we make sure we train hard.
That sounds like some boot camp stuff, jumping into muddy puddles and all that stuff.
Yes, it is. But we trained at home. Well, we trained at our location. So I rented a location. We trained for weeks, and then we went out there and we killed it. Our youngest was 7 years old. Our oldest, 75.
You're gonna give us some demonstrations or what? Or you want to say that?
Let's go. I would love to give you some demonstrations. So we can start by doing something simple. And I always like to do, when I do public demonstrations, I love to give things that anybody can do at any point in their fitness, at any point in their wellness, and any their health. So we have people who are chair bound. So I like to do simple things like we'll do a chest compression. So you want to act as if there is a string attached here, and you want to pop the string every time you close your arms. So you want to pull it. So you want to use your own, your own. So I want you to get your hands a little wider, a little higher.
Let me give some.
Yes, get comfortable. Get comfy and cozy.
Yeah.
So put them straight up. Bring your hands a little. Yep. Bring them down a little bit. Yes. So you want to contract, push against yourself. Use
you feel it on your back, right?
Yes, and squeeze those back muscles. Squeeze those traps in between. Squeeze. Good. One more time. Squeeze. Good.
I can feel squeezing on my chest and my back and everything.
Yes. You're going to squeeze your chest and your back. We're going to do 3 more. Bring those elbows together. 2 more. No, yes, that's it. 1 more. And squeeze. Good.
You got to breathe with it, right?
Yes, you have to breathe. So that's actually the next thing I was going to teach you. So early, very, very, very early on in my life, from high school throughout college, I traveled the world. I sung, I danced. But what we learned in dance is that you want to make sure you're zipping it up. So you want to go from, put your finger on your sternum.
Oh, okay.
The breastbone right in between. Yes. Yeah. And then you're going to put your finger on your pelvis. Yes. So relax your shoulders. Breathe in. Breathe out. Relax, breathe in. Breathe out. Good. So now we're going to take this portion of your body, and as if there was a zipper, we're going to zip it up, and we're going to tighten it up all the way up to your sternum. So we're gonna go from relaxed to tight, relaxed to tight, relaxed to tight. Relax those shoulders. Yes, relax.
I'm not standing all the way up, but yeah.
So you want to keep it zipped up. So what you have in our core of our body, everybody wants to focus on the abs.
Yeah.
But have you ever seen a bodybuilder who is huge here and huge here?
Yeah.
Yes. So that is when they're actually breathing improperly and they're creating their muscles. They're building their muscles outward. We want to make sure our muscles inward. So these are called the transverse abdominis.
Uh-huh.
The muscles on the outside. These are the abs on the outside, or the obliques. So we want to make sure that we're tightening our transverse abdominis and bringing that core inside.
Yeah.
Yep. Relax your shoulders. You should be able to talk. You should be able to walk. You should be able to cook.
All that stuff.
Yes, but you got to keep it tight at the same time. You should feel it pulling from your pelvis through your hips to your abs to your chest, and relax.
I love it. And we got to find out more because you have a website that we can go to, right?
Yes, you can find me at smartstepsfitness.com. You can also find me on social media at dsmartfit.com.
And the torture chamber is right there. So make sure you tune in and check her out because she's got it going on. I may even take some classes with her too.
Oh, yeah.
Ripping everything off so I can get straight.
We got to get you beach body ready.
There you go. There you go. But listen, Dana, thank you so much. Dana Smart, certified fitness trainer, Smart Steps Fitness. She has a torture chamber and the whole nine. So stand by. She's going to work you out. She's got some things, some teens in that torture chamber. Thank you, Dana.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. That about does it for us. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for checking it out. Thank you for letting me share in this space and time with you. Always remember this, what you are is God's gift to you, and what you make of yourself is your gift to God. To choose your choice, so let the choice control the chooser. Remember, whether you say you can or you can't, either way, you're right. It's all right here. I want to thank the BronxNet team and the whole crew. We thank you, thank you, thank you. We'll catch you another day, another way, and I'll see you over 107.5 WVLS. Love you all.